Hello YouTube, it's Gotham Games again. Some of you enjoyed the videos that I made last time of myself just playing games for YouTube and not having a live chat. So I'm gonna do that again. Gonna play a few games without actually having a Twitch chat open, and we'll see how it goes. All right, got a game. 2660 from Turkey, plays d4. I'll play symmetrical. Against this move order, I like to play bishop d6. Yeah, and unfortunately, there's really no way around the solidity of the London. This is an interesting move. It forces me to go knight c6. I was trying to play a setup where I play queen c7 and knight d7. I can't do that anymore. I'm just gonna castle. Opponent could go here in queen a4. That's not much of anything. I'm gonna play knight e7. This is a very common idea, and then you can put the knight on f5. And if my opponent takes my bishop, okay, takes my knight, that gives me pretty good control of that square. Okay, opponent just violently trades off all the pieces. I can just continue developing. I can bring a rook. I can play b6. I think my opponent probably wants this. So I'll go b6. I want to put my bishop on the long diagonal. I don't really know what to do with my rooks yet. And g6 will always be useful. This is an isolated pawn. That's a good move. But I could dislodge the queen, so I'm actually not very convinced by where that queen is standing. I really don't like that move, actually. Maybe my opponent will blunder bishop e2. He did not. Worth a shot, though. All right, rook d8. I kind of got everything I wanted. I'm a little concerned about queen a4. I really like this move, though. Something's going to d4. Let's just send a warning shot that I might mean business on the king side. Opponent is completely unconcerned about my warning shot, but I'm gonna go g6. This is all very normal. I really do like my bishop, and my opponent has a bunch of pawns on the dark squares, so my light squared bishop is actually a really powerful piece. This bind, of course, is very annoying, and in the long run, this knight will just be dominant. The knight will probably dominate my bishop. If you just think ahead to the endgame, I'm gonna have some difficulties for sure. That looks really appealing, I have to say. I think I'm just gonna play it. GH would be great. Knight takes is the question. Like, do I sack the rook? I know it's me, so I'm technically supposed to always sack the rook. Does this attack this? No, so maybe we take that off. Knight g5 could be a thing. The opening of the h-file could be useful. Gotta be careful about knight forks. Really want to go here as well. I'm taking a little bit too much time, which is what I always do on these games. Replacing the knight would be nice. Queen d4 is annoying, and I might just have to repeat moves, which my opponent would probably do because he is lower rated than me, and I feel like... How about this? How about this pawn sack? We're giving up the pawn completely, but we'd love to get this, and that looks suspicious. No, g5 is a terrible move. Oh my... What? How did that... What? How did that even happen? Wait, I'm not even dead. Wait a minute. How am I... What? I guess my opponent just wasn't used to... What? That was crazy. How am I not just dead lost? I mean, I probably am dead lost, but I'm like also not. Whoa. No, but that was just so... I mean, how did that even happen? That was so idiotic. That's infuriating. How did that even... What? Whoa! My opponent is kind of going nuts here a little bit, I feel like. I mean, I should have lost this game completely after that mouse slip, but somehow I'm still alive. Die another day. Oh my god. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my... I wish I was live streaming this game. What just That was so bad! That was so bad! Oh my god, that was one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. Okay. It was a London, I mean, nothing special. Of course, I think technically the correct move order is to castle. Playing c5, like the move c5 in the London is a very common weapon because D and C pawns go together. But doing it in this move order allows white the additional option to play bishop b5 check. So if you just castle, white kind of has to commit the bishop. And then you can play c5, c3, queen c7, and you can kind of get this setup without actually moving the knight out to the c6 square. Not that this is like winning, but this is what I wanted. So I rushed a little bit, and my opponent took advantage with the move bishop b5, but obviously this is not like groundbreaking stuff. Knight e7 is one of many moves. You can also move your bishop out of the way. You can take on g3, actually. It's not great to take on g3 when there's a rook staring here, but the bishop already committed to the wrong square. So if the bishop was on d3, and by the way, even if the bishop was on d3, mildly overblown. Of course, white is happy, but not at this level. And then I did this, and yeah, this is just an equal-ish position. I think my opponent played pretty reasonably. But g3 was crazy. This is completely unnecessary. And the point is that you just have good stability here. This move completely destabilizes the light squares. You should be bringing the rook to the center. A queen trade probably benefits white here because white gets really commanding control of the center. And what I was mentioning as the game was going on is you've got to kind of always be thinking about what would happen if at any point the queens got traded, or what would happen if the knights got traded, what would happen if the rooks got traded, and just at any moment you've got to think about what will happen in the endgame. And I thought by this point I actually did my position some favors. I was pretty happy with this h4 idea, but the computer just hates it completely. It just thinks that my opponent should have done this. I had, you know, some ideas, but I think this just all fails. Yeah, I mean, the computer just... You know, I saw I could go here, and the computer just finds a defensive king move, and that was my one threat. I mean, I was being way too aggressive. It was not accurate. Now here yeah, d4 is a very instructive moment. That square is actually covered 5 times, and yet me pushing the pawn there is the best move, which is really interesting. This is a... kind of like just being able to show all of you the fact that this is the best move here and explaining why is why I made this channel. The reason is, like, you would love to do this. A lot of people would play this move. And the reason people struggle at chess is because they see a knight move that attacks a queen. That's kind of the end of the story. But white now gets time, gets to improve their position. And if black just plays a backwards defensive move, white has a rook sacrifice that leads to mate. But even if white doesn't find that, like even if white just plays like knight g5, black is in massive trouble. Because now this is actually a problem because it's defended. And if you play rook h8, you surrender control of e6. So now you just lose a queen. A lot of people would play moves like knight e4 because they don't know what to do. I realized that I was, you know, I thought about what my opponent wanted. I thought about knight g5, I thought about rook here, queen d4, and I realized the mechanics of white's position slightly fail here on the light squares. And the move d4, when this pawn is accepted and captured, will kind of pause everything my opponent wants. It's a clearance sacrifice, the move d4. It clears out the light squares for me to operate on, and it also puts kind of an existential threat to the white position, and it prevents the knight and the queen from advancing. So I've completely negated 2 pieces of moving, and I've taken back a little bit of control. Now, of course, the opponent still has, like, scary-looking sacrifices, but as long as I defend, I should be fine. But knight d4 allowed me to kind of get back in the game, and then, I mean, this is insanity. This mouse slip is so tragic. I don't even know. I mean, I was gonna go queen e5, which the computer evaluates as the second best move. I had picked up the... I don't even know how that happened. Maybe I need a new mouse. I was gonna go here, which is a much more reasonable move than queen c6. I thought rook e1, and then I thought like knight g4, and I used this. Yeah, I mean, my opponent, it's completely deranged not to win this game. In fact, my opponent blundered immediately. There's a pin here, but the bigger threat is like knight g4, so I don't know. I mean, stability, stabilize, move the king out of the pin. And then even here, just insane how my opponent messed this up. Like, it's not easy though, but you don't need to give checks. Maybe slowly advance and improve your position, but definitely don't give a million checks and then hang your knight. That was nuts. That was just the one mover. So I lost the queen and then I won the game. Wow, that was atrocious. I don't know how that happened. That was so bad. It's good though. I mean, I'm very happy. I'm very happy that got to make it into a video, because that was just one of the that was incredibly stupid. I'm not calling my opponent stupid. I am calling that entire sequence stupid.